Hey guys, all two of you in here. I don't see anybody chatting, so I'm not sure if this is regulars in here or not. Um, so this is probably going to be a little bit of a quick episode. Um, I'm not planning on being on here an extremely long time, and I do. Hey, Blissful. Great. There is at least one of my regulars in here. um, it was kind of last minute me announcing that there wasn't going to be a Tales from the Darkside stream tonight. Um, and that was not due to my co host fault. Unfortunately, um, TJ had something personal that he had to take care of. I am not going to divulge what that is because I figure if TJ wants to talk about it, he will. Um, but because of that, he is not able to join me tonight. So I decided to forego the Tales from the Dark Side uh, episode breakdown for the second half of the second season episodes until TJ can join me. I thought it was only fair to him, especially because he's been really instrumental in making these episode breakdown streams, I think, more popular because there's not just me on here just carrying on about, several episodes. And it is good to have somebody else to bounce things off of. Um, uh, Also, I may have to step away depending on how long this is to go get my Grubhub order that's supposed to come. And also, Brandon's a little restless tonight, so I may have to go get him and bring him back here so he doesn't wake up Steve. So I don't really have anything planned for this. It was just basically, I mean, it can be another one of those ask me anything type of deals. If people want to come in here and ask me, certain things about horror movies or just maybe movies in general, it doesn't necessarily have to stick to horror necessarily. Um, or just anything as long as it doesn't get like point blank too personal. And I think all of you guys that come in here understand that you don't want to ask too personal of questions. um but other than that, it's basically maybe like an ask me anything, or we can just hang out in here. I mean, there's only two of us plus me right now, and only Blissful is chatting. Again, I'm not sure. Um, like I said, I had the Tales from the Dark Side stream plan, but things don't always go as planned. And again, that was not TJ's fault. He can't help it that he had something um, that had to be taken care of, and it was definitely more important than a stream. I will say that. And, that's exactly what I told him. I said, don't worry about the stream. That's something that we could do anytime. It didn't have to be done. It didn't have to be done tonight. Um, so, me, I always like to be live on the streams unless I'm just deathly ill. Sorry for the bad hair. Um, you say you talk to yourself all the time, Blissful. Looks like we got four in here now. I'm hoping some other people come in here and actually chat. Blissful, since you're actually actively chatting, is there anything that you would like to ask me about horror movies or movies in general? Like I said, it doesn't have to be horror movies, or You can ask me convention stories. Basically, it's the floor's open to you guys. If you just want to, throw some things out there and see what sticks, we can do that too. Um, I just didn't want anybody to feel like I was just on here just rambling because, like I said, I didn't really have anything other than the Tales from the Dark Side thing planned to do. Um, hey, Darren. Darren, you as well, since I see you in here actively chatting. If there's anything that you want to ask me or just chat about or whatever, it is fine. It's kind of open mic night for everybody. And, if anybody, hold on just a second here. If anybody that comes in here at any point in time while I'm doing this, okay. There we go. I'm really liking my kind of retro typewriter keyboard. Um, hmm. I don't know if that. I was putting the. That was weird. Okay, try that again. Well, it's not showing up there. Are you guys seeing the link I'm putting up there? Because it's like I've tried to post it twice, and let's try it this way. And I don't know if it's posted 3 times or that's very strange. Hold on just a second here. Yeah, for some reason it is not showing up on. Sorry for posting that 3 times. For some reason, now it's showing. Okay, I don't know. Maybe something's going on with StreamYard. Maybe something's going on with my internet. I don't know. Um, but anyway, I didn't really mean to post it 3 times. I just didn't see it until like just now. I switched back and forth between YouTube to see if it was showing up on YouTube, and then switched back to StreamYard. But anyway, if anybody in here now or that comes in here at any point in time and wants to join me on here while I'm on here, that is perfectly acceptable. That's perfectly fine. It's the reason I put those links in the chat. Um, I think, and Blissful, I see your question up there, and I am going to attempt to answer it. That's a really good question too, and I'm going to have to think a little bit about it. I think. Um, but what was I going to say? See, I hope it's not early stage Alzheimer's or anything because I do that all the time. Jeez Louise. Okay. Well, I'm going to go to Blissful's question and then maybe I'll remember what I was going to say. Blissful asks, what movie has been most influential to you? Um, well, I am the Evil Dead chick, and I do, I talk about it a lot, but probably the Evil Dead has been most influential to me, like as a horror fan, I guess. Um, Now, other movies, I guess maybe not influential to me, but inspiring. When I see stories like Patch Adams with Robin Williams, or watching something where somebody overcomes a struggle and comes out on top or comes out ahead. For instance, I was watching a movie on YouTube um, about a couple of weeks ago, and I had seen it before, but I didn't remember all of it. So I watched it again, called No One's Child. And it's about a woman who struggled with um, mental illness for a long, long time. Um, and she lived most of her life in a mental hospital. And there was a time when they drugged her up so much that she was just virtually catatonic. And she overcame all of this. She got married. She went to college. And then I believe she became like a psychiatrist or something eventually. Those kind of things, um, they do influence me to constantly better myself and push myself to do more things and stuff, because I think if these people can do it, if these people that had all these struggles and obstacles and they are able to succeed, well, surely I can succeed. Nothing really should be able to stop me in that department. So, movies like that, yes, Blissful, you say, I love overcoming the odds movies. Exactly. Um, or watching documentaries, like I've mentioned Kane Hodder's documentary, To Hell and Back, the Kane Hodder story. I had no idea about all the different struggles that Kane Hodder had. And I did not know, really, I did not know that he was bullied so bad as a child. Um, I did not, I knew that he was burned, but I never knew the actual story behind it, and his struggles after that. So I always respected Kane Hodder, but after reading the book and watching the documentary, I have a whole other layer of respect for the man. Um, so I like a lot of stuff like that. Um, Going back to Patch Adams a little bit, Patch Adams was a guy who struggled, with things like depression and stuff. And he actually evidently checked himself into a mental hospital for a while. And then when he checked out of there, he decided to go to college and medical school and became a doctor. And I don't know what Patch Adams, I'm guessing he's still alive. I don't know what he's doing these days. I don't think he was extremely fond of the film version of his life. Um, but I don't think he actively hated it. I think he was just maybe a little miffed at where they took license with certain things. But as we know, when Hollywood gets a hold of something, no matter what it is, they're going to inevitably end up taking license with it. But I did think that the movie was really good. I think Robin Williams, bless his heart, was fantastic in it. And what the movie made me want to do ultimately is read more about Patch Adams. And so I ended up buying the book Gesundheit that he wrote, that the real Patch Adams wrote, about wanting to have this hospital where, if you didn't have money to pay, they would still treat you, and, to make the treatment fun, um, and not to, and they brought this up in the movie too. Patch Adams never wanted people to be identified by their illness. He wanted them to be identified as a person. And that's something that a lot of times they teach you in medical school is, don't, get too self-involved with the patients. You got to look at the illness, not the person. And he didn't want to do that. And so he did things like going to the children's ward where these unfortunately a lot of these children had cancer, and he would dress as a clown and he would go in there and entertain them. And I fully believe that things like that are healing. Um, they might not get rid of the cancer, they may not totally go into remission, but I still think that that fun factor, whether you're in the hospital or you're, under hospice care at your home. Um, I, I'm going to get a little bit personal here, but I had a friend several years ago who unfortunately passed away from cancer. And I got to see him. He was under hospice care, and he was a pretty young guy. He was I believe my age. So I had just seen him, maybe a year or 6 months before that. Um, and he was in the hospital here in Louisville, and he was on the cancer wing. He was in the Brown Cancer Center. And I mean, at that time, he was sitting up and talking and cutting up, and he was like the same guy I had hung out with a bunch of times. When I saw him when he was, pretty much bedridden and hospice was coming in, um, it wasn't quite the same thing. But I will always treasure that, even though it was sad. I treasure the fact that I got to spend some time with my friend before he passed away, because unfortunately he passed away not long after that. So not to get too sad and bum everybody out. Um, but Blissful, you say it's stress about the forgetting. You say you go through the same thing. Yeah, I think it is. I kind of half jokingly mention about Alzheimer's. I really shouldn't joke about it, but that's a lot of times how I deal with stuff that kind of worries me. Darren, you say, Dana, have you ever seen And Soon the Darkness, 1970, Fright, 1971, and The Haunted House of Horror, 1969, UK proto slashers? The reason I ask is they're possibles for Eurocult. Um, I wanted to say I have seen And Soon the Darkness, Darren, but it's been so long ago that I can't really remember a lot about it. Now, Fright, I do clearly remember Fright, and I enjoyed it very, very much. Although, I don't remember it being like super bloody or anything, but it was very suspenseful. And I would definitely say that that would be a great one for Girl Cult. The Haunted House of Horror from '69, I don't believe I've ever seen that one. But Fright, I can definitely say that I've seen and that I enjoyed it. I actually have, I believe, a DVD of that. That's what you say. Yeah. My mom calls it CRS LOL. Can't remember shit. I got you. Hey, Afro. Yes, Susan George. I remember her clearly in that movie. You say Susan George and Fright, kind of babysitter in peril. Exactly. Yes. And I think, in my opinion, Susan George does a great job as the babysitter in that movie. Um, so, speaking of the Eurocult show, Darren, are you excited that I picked Pete Walker's The Comeback for my pick? And hopefully I don't get sick again, because I'm really looking forward to it. And I wanted to, even though I'm not, like I said before, Nazi exploitation movies are not necessarily my cup of tea, but I was really looking forward to discussing it with you boys. And I was very disappointed when I was feeling too ill to actually do so. Um, but so I hope Darren and Dirk are hold on. Like I said earlier, I've got some food coming, so just let me know it's on the way. So, anyways, um, Darren, I hope you and Dirk are both. I don't know about Steve. He doesn't really ever actually tell me, what he thinks about my picks. I mean, maybe once or twice he has, said, "Oh, that's a good pick." But he's not nearly as vocal about it as other people are. Darren, you say, yes, looking forward to your views on the comeback. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to actually sitting down and watching it. I knew if I picked it, that would, because I've been wanting to watch it. It just, it feels like time gets away from me sometimes. And well, actually a lot of times it feels like stuff gets away from me. But I don't know what that other okay. Never mind. I need to quit playing with my phone, don't I? Joe Bob talked a long time about that, actually, about how people are fiddling with their phones all the time. And usually I don't even have the phone back here, but I knew that I had ordered some food and I am actually looking forward to getting it and eating it because, excuse me, it is something, the food that I'm getting is actually a chicken strip basket from Dairy Queen. And you're probably thinking, good Lord, Dairy Queen, Dana. But I, I love those chicken strip baskets, and I haven't eaten one in a long time. And now they have um, circle fries or something like that. And I don't know. That's just I guess, a gimmick or something. But I was, or fry rings. That's what they call them, fry rings. And I thought, oh, those look good. I'll try that out. Afro says, Blissful, I can't wait to have you make some custom pieces for me, counting down the days to go over it with you. And Blissful says, Afro, anytime you're ready. Afro, you say you love the DQ chicky baskets. Yes, especially that damn gravy. That stuff is so addictive. And I probably shouldn't be eating it, but man, I'm craving it. And I'm back on the Noom. I don't know how many of you have seen like commercials for Noom, which is not really a diet thing. It's just a new way to look at food. And it does help you lose weight. I'm having a little bit more trouble this time losing weight, but I'm just thinking it's my age creeping up on me, and I just need to do a little more exercise and need to get that treadmill out more and be using it so I can get more steps in. But excuse me, with Noom, they say that no food is bad food. Just some foods are more calorie dense than others, and it's all about like moderation with Noom, basically. Yes, and that's something, Darren, that Noom states quite often. And they state too that if you're craving something, you should go ahead and have a little bit of it. Otherwise, you're depriving your body of something that it wants. And if you don't give in just a little bit, you're going to wind up going whole hog and eating way too much and getting way too many calories. When if you just, I'm craving it, let me eat a little bit of it, and that'll take care of my craving, then I'll be good. But Darren, you say treat yourself once in a while won't harm you. Exactly. And that's what Blissel says too, Darren. Exactly. Um, so I'm kind of concerned about my blood sugar, so I am going to step away for 1 second and go grab some candy real quickly. Well, hey, Rooster. Welcome back. Hadn't seen you for a little while. Let's see. Evidently, the Grubhub driver will be here soon, so I will soon be having some chicken strip basket with fry rings and gravy. And I also got a large slushy or misty or whatever you want to call it from Dairy Queen. You're working, Rooster? Yeah, I'm glad I'm off from work because I don't know. I try not to take things personally, at work. Because, I think everybody goes through these types of things at any job they're at. But unfortunately, I take stuff to heart so much. And so, I've been sick for the last couple of days. And, of course, I came back and they never let up on the tickets. I thought that they were supposed to not assign tickets when you were either A, on vacation or B, sick. And so not only did something happen that I'm going to tell you about here in a second, but I had like 10 or more tickets assigned to me. And then some people were, when are we going to get our printers fixed? When are we going to, And so I had to sheepishly explain that I've been out sick for the last couple of days with bad stomach flu. And so a lot of people were understanding. They were like, no worries, they just rolled with it. But if the people that had tickets in hadn't been so kind, it might have been a little rougher. Um, so not only were there tons of tickets that I had to sort through and get things organized and try to get as many out of the way as I could. We a few weeks ago, maybe a couple weeks ago or something, we had gotten an email um telling us if we, like to check under our beds, check in our closets, see if we had any Smile Doctors equipment, um, other than what we use every day. We weren't supposed to report our laptops and stuff like that you're using. But if you had stuff just laying around your house that belonged to Smile Doctors, but you weren't using it, you were supposed to report it on this spreadsheet. Nowhere in that original email do I remember seeing anything about If you have nothing to report, you need to put that in the spreadsheet. I thought that was a given, you know, that if I don't put anything down, that means I don't have anything. Um, but my logic must not be the same as everybody else's logic. So, anyways, um, so we get and also we when I first started with Smile Doctors, we had an IT briefing every day. Well, then all of a sudden the IT briefing started showing up as canceled. So therefore I didn't bother going to them. But evidently they were having them, and I told my supervisor Steve about it today. Um, when we got the kind of scathing email that there was basically no reason for people that didn't have any extra equipment to at least put that in the spreadsheet. And I'm like, geez, Louise, I, and that didn't come from, I didn't come necessarily from Steve, my supervisor. That came from his boss. So she was evidently pretty PO'd that several of us did not put that we either had some equipment or didn't have any equipment. Um, and she basically said there was no excuse for it. And she actually needed that stuff last week by the 23rd. And she expected everybody that hadn't done that yet to fill that stuff out on the spreadsheet by the time we had the IT briefing today. So I brought up the spreadsheet. I um, put that I had nothing to report in there. And then I sent it to my supervisor. And I told him, I said, Steve, I said, I am so sorry that I did not fill this out. I said, I was not aware that they wanted us to say, oh, okay, I have nothing. I have no extra inventory items. Um, and so that's why I didn't. And I also told him, I said, if they made it apparent in the IT briefing, I said, I've been looking at these IT briefing pop ups and it keeps saying they're canceled. And so I haven't been going to them. And he just emailed me back. He said, you're good. And he said, I'll look at the IT briefing things for you. And they still showed up canceled, but I went to it anyway and clicked join. Um, and got on there because, evidently they're not canceled. So anyway, um, so guys, I think that might be my food. I hate to keep. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to step out there and heck, they didn't even put it in a bag or anything. I guess Dairy Queen didn't put it in a bag. But I will return, guys. I'll be right back. And I'm going to answer all these little chat questions when I get back. So, I'm going to kind of clear off my desk a little bit here because I am not using, this was a real quick thing, so I'm not using my mixer tonight. So I'm going to set the keyboard there. And if you guys will permit me one more little timely indulgence, I'm going to go take my insulin shot for the evening before I eat this. So I will be right back, guys. Okay, so I am back now. We got 10 people in here. I wouldn't have thought we would have had very many, so I hope you guys don't mind me being slightly unprofessional. Oh, so they gave me like, I didn't know I was going to get 2 types of fries. But I think these are onion rings. But that's okay. I don't mind onion rings. They gave me regular fries. And they also gave me onion rings, which I don't mind. I'm not going to be like super picky. But I will say that even as good as these chicken strip boxes are now, or chicken strip baskets, they have really went up in price over the years. And that is definitely not due to, I mean, the chicken strips used to be a lot bigger than this. I know they did. And like if you get, I only got the 4 chicken strip meal. If you get 6, I believe, it's a lot more expensive. So let's see. X-ray, you say Grubhub, is Steve getting his chicken tendies tonight? No, Steve's actually asleep. Remember, Steve's on pap all time. He don't. He's gonna miss out on this. I don't even know if he's very big on these chicken strip baskets anyway. Steve's an odd duck sometimes. But that really hits the spot. Actually, you said I better have mozzarella sticks on the side or he gets pissed. Yeah, Rooster, I agree. Being sick and working is not easy. It definitely is not. After you say roll with it, and I'll make me a hot cup of coffee. Okay. Um, X-ray, you say they don't give a fuck about your illness. They just want their ink replaced and their paper trays reloaded. Well, at least one of the ladies who said, can we get this taken care of ASAP in the ticket? That was before she knew that I'd been sick. When I told her, she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you were sick." I'm like, "It's cool, you know." Um, but that is why they shouldn't assign me tickets whenever I'm off for whatever reason. No, I am not considered the head IT person at my gig, X-ray. I never have been at any IT job I've had or even any other job. I've never been the head person. Um, that's usually reserved for other people. After you say, an old slice of pie would go great to cuddle up with while warming up. Nice. Yeah, a slice of cherry pie would be really good. Rooster, you say I'm illogical and tend to uh, do a lot of deep breathing. LOL. Yeah, well, I like to do those deep breathing exercises too. Really, Afro, you say it's so cold here in the tundra. Me sad panda. Well, it was almost 80 degrees here in good old Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky today. Rooster, you say it's cold in the high desert too. I've been having to thaw my bulldogs out the door. Oh, poor babies. Blissful, you say it was in the 40s here today. Wow. Big difference between almost 80 and 40. Afro, you say it's in the 40s here, but I'm by a Great Lake and the bone chilling wind is unreal. Yeah, I haven't ever been like extremely privy to lake effect weather, but I hear it kind of sucks. Rooster, you say the wind adds to the bad weather here, blustery. Yeah. Getting anytime you get down near the river or anything, it's already cold. Like for instance, once on a Valentine's Day date, Steve took me to Joe's Crab Shack here in Louisville, and it was in February. And Joe's Crab Shack is, of course, right near the river. And oh my God, the wind coming off the river would just cut right through you. It was so cold. Blissful, you say, we have been pretty lucky with the weather in Cooperstown. Afro, you say, Steve is passed the F out at this hour, LOL. He certainly is, usually. That's the way he likes to be at this hour. Hey, Wes, you say, hey, everybody, how you fuckers doing? I'm doing better than I was, Wes. Hey, Uncle Bill, you say, Dana's the HBIC head bitch in charge. No, Dana's not the head bitch in charge of anything. Hey, old curly Josh, you say it's 80 in New Albany. Yeah, you were having about the same temperatures as we were. Oh, Curly Jaws is just over the river from us. Blissful, you say everything will thaw out in July, LOL. Reese, you say I'm lucky with the weather. A lot of people are a lot colder. Blissful, you say, I was watching it snow in Southern California today. Wow. Okay, Wes, lay it on me. You got a request? Do you want me to quit eating during my streams? Oh my. You want me to say shucky ducky quack quack using the duck voice? Well, unfortunately, I don't have the mixer out right now. I'm just using the other microphone, so I don't have all that hooked up. Which, granted, I mean, if truth be told, it doesn't take very long to hook it up. But can I can I save that? Can I take a rain check on that request and I'll do it the next time? Just remind me. Did you just get a tattoo machine in old Curly Jaws? Maybe old Curly Jaws is wanting to be a tattoo artist. I know he's got a lot of tattoos on his person. Wes, you say, yeah, as long as you do it good. Okay, I'll try the best I can. Okay. So you just started. Cool. So are you gonna be making a little money on the side there, old Curly Jaws, doing tattoo work? Mm, what did you say? Another question. Have you seen The Innocents from 1961? I've heard of it, Wes, but I don't think that I've seen it. Um, but I might like to. Liz, what you say? I'm kind of getting addicted to tattoos. Well, if they weren't so damn expensive for good ones, I would probably be addicted to them because I've only got the one on my upper back that's a memorial to Sam, my basset hound that we had a few years back, and he passed away. We think he had cancer. So I have a paw print, and it says Sam over the paw print, and there are angel wings, and it also has like a rainbow, and it on the rainbow it says, "I'll meet you at the bridge." Um, so I saw this. This actually was not something that came out of my head, but I actually saw someone else had done that as a memorial to their pet. And so I thought, oh, that is beautiful. And so that is my one and only tattoo, but I definitely want to get some more at some point. Rich, you say invasion of the DP rowdies. So is it gonna be uh are you gonna give $20 tattoos? Or are you talking about like the real cheap tattoos that don't quite look as good? Oh yeah. I had forgotten about that, Darren. That's a good question. Darren says, Curly Jaws, you still getting that captain tattoo? If you do, oh Curly Jaws, I want to see it. You getting shirts made, oh Curly Jaws? You say you have me beat, Blissful. Um, Afro, you say you have none. Well, nothing wrong with that. I mean, some people, just it hasn't ever, come up, or, it's not really something that they have thought about often. Wow, Rooster, you say my hometown in Cali had snow on the beach. Rooster says, "Oh, Curly, what's the name of your tattoo shop?" And I guess it's going to be Old Curly Jaws Tattoos. I knew you had a whole lot of them, Old Curly Jaws. I didn't know the exact number, but you've got over 200. Wow. Old Curly Jaws is officially the illustrated man here. Well, she said, "Old Curly can give Steve a tramp stamp." Oh, man. I don't know if it's just because it's getting late or what, but that just struck me as very funny. Uncle Bill says, "Little butterfly." Holy cow. So, I know, I'll mention this again. I know a lot of you, and I'm not being sarcastic at all. I mean, there are a lot of you that are brokenhearted that TJ is not on here with me tonight. And we're not talking about Tales from the Darkside season 2. Um, but for the benefit of those of you that weren't in here earlier, um, I'll just say that TJ unfortunately had something personal he had to take care of. And I'm not going to divulge that, because if TJ wants to tell people, I'm sure he will. But I like to keep personal stuff exactly that, personal, unless the person divulging that information to me decides to share. Well, I agree. Well, she said, "I'm a funny fucker," Dana admitted. No, I think it was a little more than that. Um, you want to know what it was, Uncle Bill? Well, I just don't. I don't feel comfortable giving out other pieces of information. That I figure TJ shared it with me because he was going to do a stream with me tonight, and so he kind of had to. But you know, so I can't tell you why, Uncle Bill. Mm. Blissful, you say a little butterfly. So since old Curly Jaws has got so many tattoos, I want to know. I want to ask old Curly Jaws a question here. Um, Curly Jaws, what is your favorite tattoo out of the 200 that you've got? I would love to hear that. Uncle Bill's just going to keep asking me. I feel like Cameron and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when he doesn't want to go over to Ferris's house, and because he says he's sick, he thinks he's dying. Um, this always strikes me as funny. He'll keep calling me and calling me, and then he's like, "I'll go, I'll go, I'll go, I'll go." And so I know probably the majority of you guys, if not all of you guys, have seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ain't nothing but a mistake. What? To not tell you? Oh, Curly Jaws is on here. All right. So let's add old Curly Jaws. Oh, actually, old Curly Jaws tattoos, should say.
So you want to know what my favorite what my favorite tattoo is, huh?
Yes.
Oh, it's really hard to always like pick a specific like favorite, but I like if I truly had pick a favorite, I, I don't. That's a damn. That's a hard one. I have I would say maybe multiple ones. Like, hold on if I
Okay,
can.
so here, like, what's your top 3 tattoos? Make it a little easier.
Top three. Okay, I'm trying to the hands down. If I can, the lighting in here is fucking terrible. The Aussie tattoo
Cool.
is one of my favorite ones. I always get complimented. Oh, that's are you an Aussie fan? I'm like, well, yeah, I would say I hope I am.
If you have that tattoo, I would say, yeah, I hope you are.
Yeah, I've had the this tattoo for a while. It's one of my favorites. Um, Probably my signature from Kevin Smith I got on my leg.
Oh, yeah.
That one means a lot because I got to meet the guy I thought I'd never meet.
What about the, you got the Gary Busey one. How do you feel about that one? How does that rank? Oops. I lost old Curly Jaws. Well, if he comes back, I'll re-add him. There he is. Okay. There we go.
I couldn't hear you for a second. Like the volume was very low, so I was like couldn't hear what you was saying.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. Um, but like the Aussie one, the Kevin Smith one. Funny thing, I actually have Kevin Smith and his daughter's signatures on my leg
Awesome.
when I met both of them in separate years. Kevin Smith the first year, his daughter the second year. Um, oh, the Dead Pit one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That one right there. As far as I know, I'm the only person on the planet with a Dead Pit tattoo.
Yeah, you probably are, unless CK and Uncle Bill know of somebody else.
Um, I say, I'll just go through them. Actually, you know what? Why not just go through some of them? If you could see this one, I don't know. If I'm trying to point this camera, but right there,
Mm-hmm.
see the wizard.
Oh, yeah.
This one means a little. This one's a little more deeper. This one's about my uncle that passed away back in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, and he had a wizard and a dragon on his arm, so I thought I'd get the same, a little bit different, but I thought I would remember him like that.
That's cool. I always like the fact that people kind of memorialize either, people or animals.
Mhm.
I've got my dog memorialized on my upper back, and that's the only tattoo I have. Um, so are you being called, oh, Curly Jaws?
Yeah, my brother's trying to call me.
Oh,
Let me see what he wants, and I'll be right back. I'm so
okay.
apologize.
Oh, no problem. So, we'll wait for old Curly Jaws to come back, and I'll read some of these chat messages. So, Blissful, evidently, you met Ozzy. You say Ozzy was fun to hang out with. I bet. I bet he's an interesting guy. So, Wes, are you asking old Curly Jaws about favorite Aussie record? Because, I mean, I like some of Ozzy's stuff, but I don't think probably I've listened to it enough to actually have a favorite record. Darren says Blizzard of Oz. Rooster, you say Paranoid. Oh, that's awesome, Blissful. You say you were friends with his drummer? I agree, Afro. Blissful is always just, she's genuinely nice, and she has cool stories to tell, and so does Texas. I mean, they are definitely a match. Um, and I wish I wish Texas was able to be on here. I mean, he may be here, maybe listening. But again, I hope you guys don't mind me partaking of my chicken strip basket from Dairy Queen. So, does anybody else in the chat have any cool tattoos that they want to talk about while we're waiting for old Curly Jaws to come back? Or do you have anything that you want to ask me? I mean, I know old Curly Jaws, bless his heart, he is more interesting than I am. Wrestling. I know a little bit about wrestling, but not as much as these people that are hardcore into it. Um, well, I did actually get a movie in yesterday. I got and I meant to talk about it during the stream, and for whatever reason, I forgot. Um, but did get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4K. I didn't get the Steelbook, and this is the Dark Sky one. This is not the Second Sight one. But man, I haven't watched. I haven't watched CK's review of the excuse me, of the 4K steelbook that he got in, because I think his was the dark sky version too. Um, so I don't know what he said, what his thoughts were on it, like as far as the transfer and stuff. But I was really, although some of it was grainy in parts, but I kind of like grain with something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre just because it keeps it grittier and more, drive-in like and all that. But really, in all honesty, I thought the transfer was exceptional. I really think that's probably the best you're going to see that movie ever. And I would love to hear what people think about the Second Sight one. If the Second Sight transfer is better than the Dark Sky one, um, yeah, I would love to hear that. He may be, Darren. I haven't had a chance to really look at the extras that much. I was mainly focusing on watching the movie part of it last night. So, actually, I tell you what, if y'all will be able to hang on just a second, I'll go grab my 4K. Let's see here. So the Blu-ray bonus disc. Yes, there is. Darren, there's a the Cine family presents Freakin' and Hooper, a conversation about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre between William Freakin and Toby Hooper. So yes, there's also Horrors Hallowed Grounds, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Um, there's a tour of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house with Gunnar Hansen. Some of this stuff has been on previous releases, but you were correct, Darren, that William Freakin is on the extras. I'm looking forward to watching that actually. But I was trying to think, I don't think I've gotten anything else in other than Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2 on 4K. I did get that as well. I think I got that last week. And I think in my opinion that's probably the best that Slumber Party Massacre is ever going to look. I mean, there was still I think some obvious print damage, but it looks really really good in my opinion. Probably the best I've seen that movie look. Oh my gosh, I love Morgan Stewart's Coming Home Blissful. I love that movie. Um, does am I wrong or does Morgan Stewart's Coming Home have John Cryer on it? Because I was thinking that was the movie that he was in. It is a definitely a cute movie. I hadn't I hadn't even thought of that movie in a long time. It's really making me want to go back and rewatch it again. Okay, so I've got the right movie. I love John Cryer too, by the way. I guess the first time I ever really took notice of John Cryer was in Pretty in Pink. Uh, and I thought he was just exceptional in that. Um, well, his brother was calling him Uncle Bill, and so he said he was going to take his brother's phone call and then he would be back. So hopefully he will be. Come on, Uncle Bill. I know there's got to be something you're dying to ask me. Safe questions, though. I should preface that before I ask you. I need to actually see my chauffeur because when I think that's the one that has Deborah Foreman in it. Because when I was going through her movies, I thought that was one of them. Hiding Out, I don't think I've seen. I should try. I should give it a try. I'm probably going to get on one of my John Cusack kicks again and be watching all those classic John Cusack movies. Um, Crash, you say, or the Blu-ray discs of Summer Party Massacre and Summer Party Massacre 2 scratched up. I had to contact Screen Factory to be put on the replacement list. I don't think mine were, Crash. Of course, I got mine from Amazon instead of getting it directly from Screen Factory. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I know when people were getting some of the Child's Play discs that had that, whatever that nastiness was on them, um, it seemed like everybody that was getting them from Screen Factory, it had that junk on it. But I got my 4K of Child's Play from Amazon. Excuse me. And I did not notice any of that. I think I would have noticed if I saw it, but I don't think the Blu-rays of those were scratched up. Ooh, Darren, that's a hard one. You say Romero zombie films or Fulci zombie films? Well, as much as I love Fulci's zombie films, I would have to go with Romero. I'm a big time Romero fan. I mean, and I always have been. So even though I love Fulci zombie films, I'm gonna have to go with Romero on this one. You say you love his acting. Me too, Blissful. Hey, 71. So for just me just getting on here kind of and babbling and just kind of throwing this together at the last minute, um, we've had pretty good numbers tonight. Um, I did want to remind everybody of the Sorority House Massacre watch along that I will be doing on Saturday. More than likely, unless Steve drops a bombshell on me and tells me he's doing a watch along, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. This one's going to be a drinking game watch along, but as I said last night, if you don't drink alcohol for personal reasons, that is perfectly fine. Even if you want to come in live on this with me, if you want to drink water, if you want to drink soda, if you want to drink lemonade, iced tea, coffee, whatever you want to drink, um, all of those things are acceptable. Also, the rules that are listed, I may be modifying because if some of us are drinking alcohol during it, I honestly think 5 drinks is too much for like if they show a nipple or something like that. So I'm probably going to cut that down to maybe just having 1 drink for each one of the things listed. I think that's probably what I'm going to go with. So never fear if you are drinking alcohol. My intention is not to get everyone sick and have everyone be hung over the next day because we don't want to do that. This is just a fun thing. It's not, um, we want it to be safe and enjoyable, and we don't want to have any side effects. After all, you say, I'll hit those Sour Patch Kids and maybe that flower in her cart. Um, so I just wanted to remind everybody about that. And also Sunday, because this is the first uh, weekend of the month, you get a bonus watch along, which Sundays watch along starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time because it's a Sunday and most people have to go to work on Monday. I will start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. This one will not be a drinking game watch along. This one will just be regular a regular watch along. And John has gave me good old movie junkie. John has given me a place that I can find a link for night school. Um, I do want to apologize to Darren once again because Sorority House Massacre is a Tubi link. So I definitely want Darren to join us that night, but I hope that he has his own copy or he can find another copy to watch because I know he does not have access to Tubi. So, uh, let's let you say at 71, your new cat is scary. And 71, you say, ha, it's meant to be. It's been that kind of week. Oh, I think we all have those kind of weeks. And Blissful, you say it's been insane this week. Darren, you said, don't worry, I got the DVD. Awesome. Okay. Because I always cringe whenever I have to use a Tubi link because I know um, that you don't have access to Tubi. And there's probably some other people that don't have access to it either. 71, you say, in my life, it has. YouTube drama is of no importance to me anymore. So, I'm not sure if old girly Jaws is coming back. I was hoping he would. Um, because, like I said, I hate to, get off of here um, before he comes back and I'm able to tell him when I'm getting off here. Um, his brother may really have something super important to tell him. It sounded like he was blowing up his phone, so. 71, you say if he does, I could use some gummies right now. Yeah, if I felt like I could handle them, I probably would. But I have to be very, that's usually why I talk to you guys about it. If, something's going on with work or something, because I feel like I can't talk to Steve about it because, um, I love the job I'm doing. I like helping people. But I don't, and maybe I just shouldn't be so sensitive, but I don't know why every job I get, it seems like every few weeks you're getting chewed out about something. And I don't say that I'm getting chewed out directly, it's us as a group is getting chewed out. And I just don't think people need to get so bent out of shape. I know there's always somebody over somebody else and that the stuff trickles down somebody gets yelled at, they yell at the people underneath them, and they yell at the people underneath them, and it just goes on and on. But I just don't know why everybody can't just chill. It's not the end of the world. So that kind of stuff just bothers me. I get so tired of walking on eggshells and worried that I'm not going to do the right thing, or I'm going to do the wrong thing, or not a thing that follows the policies of the company, and all of that. And it's just so damn stressful to have to deal with that all the time. And, you know, I've thought it over and over again. Of course, it doesn't do any good now. But I wouldn't be able to work from home if I was still with the library. I wouldn't be making as much money if I was still working for the library. But I was settled there. There wasn't always somebody jumping on you or jumping on the group about things. I mean, yeah, my Greg at the library and IT. Greg was a good guy, in my opinion. Um, he had his faults, just like everybody else. He's a little passive aggressive sometimes, and he could be a little sarcastic sometimes. But I could deal with that. But when people point blank, like the thing over not being able to keep up with the tickets, I mean, I was still a fresh newbie then. And that was my supervisor fussing at all of us. And I'm like, why are we all getting fussed at? That was the thing that bothered me the most about that round, was that we all got chewed out in a meeting for a select few not keeping up on their tickets. If I had been the supervisor, I think I would have taken the people aside that were the offenders of this, people that hadn't touched their tickets since June, and it was November or December. I would definitely take those people aside and say, look, is there some reason why you're not getting your tickets done? Is there some reason why you're not updating your tickets? Um, but instead, we all got a talking to, or a ass chewing, because some people were not keeping up with their tickets. And instead of quietly and privately trying to find out what the issue was, I can pretty much guarantee you what the issue was. The issue is they want you on the phones, on that answering phones, and you get stuck on that call queue. You don't even get to look at your tickets. And I've heard that from some of the guys that have been around there longer. They say you get stuck on the call queue for hours at a time. You might be on one call for hours. And they tell me, I didn't even get to touch my tickets today. Okay. But instead of trying to find out what the issue is, we all got a bawling out. And basically, the gist of it was, if you don't start keeping up with your tickets, you're going to get written up. And that, I don't know how it could have been any plainer. And now we have this thing where my boss's boss is chewing us out in an email for not putting down whether we had no inventory. You know, am I wrong? Does it go without saying that if you don't put it on a spreadsheet, that I guess either one, you could be withholding stuff you got, but you could do that by just putting in the spreadsheet that you didn't have anything. I mean, so I don't know what the big ass deal is. I really don't. But somebody's panties got in a bunch over it, and it trickled on down till it got to us folks. Yeah, you know, I want to shoot you an email, Blissful. And just did you did you send me your email privately, or I can't even? It's awful. I can't even remember at this point. I'm so bad off. Um, or were we waiting for Texas to do that? Um, if you gave it to me and I have forgotten about it, Blissful, I apologize. Oh, I think you were talking to 71. Sorry about that. 71, you say a nice dartboard like bad fate during a doctor's appointment might just delay it another month. 71, you say, I know exactly what you're saying. People get bent out of shape and you're laid back and they just give you crap. I don't miss that at all. 71, you say, I still owe the doctor money anyways. I will see what goes on tomorrow. 71, you say, there's no way I could work for the company you work for. My PTSD would be over the top. Well, there's a lot of different stressors that come from different points. Um, I just have never been able to understand why people got to get so hyper over stuff. When it really, in the end, does it really matter? I don't think it does. Darren, you say, I know you work from home, but make sure you get out and get some fresh air on the weekends just for mental health reasons. Oh, yes, definitely, Darren. I've been trying to do that as much as I can. Blitzwell, you say by doing that, they lowered more morale and they extra stress. Not fair at all. No, 71, I can truthfully tell you that I am not working over my time. I get, I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. And you guys were all right when you told me that I shouldn't be doing it. And Steve was right when he told me I shouldn't be doing it. So I do as much as I can. And when 4:30 comes, I clock out. I've almost finished my chicken strip basket here, for which I bet you guys are glad. If wrestling was going on, speaking of wrestling, I'm surprised that CK and Uncle Bill were in here when they were. But I haven't seen them chatting for a while, so maybe they decided to partake of some wrestling. But yeah, I mean, I was talking about I can't tell Steve anything that even sounds remotely like it's negative about work, because he gets all bent out of shape and upset and thinks that I'm just going to up and quit. And then he's afraid I'm, going to be without a job again. And he's worried he's going to have to pay for things like groceries and stuff, which I pay for. When I have a job, I pay for those things, the trash bill, the water bill, the groceries every week. Um, make sure I get my medicines and all that. And I get it. Steve doesn't want to go back to doing that, but I told him, this has been a while back, that I got aggravated because he was talking about as if I'm a job hopper. And I said, Steve, you've job hopped a lot more than I have. I only quit one job in all the years that we've been married, and we'll have been married 10 years this August. And I said, the job that I had before I left my hometown to move to Louisville and marry you, I had for 17 years. 17 years. I said, have you ever had a job for 17 years? And he couldn't tell me that he had. So, I mean, don't be talking about me being a job hopper when I've only left one job ever or quit one job ever since we've been married. Um, Darren, you say you're going to head out. Everyone have a good rest of your night. You too, Darren. Thanks for stopping by. Blissful, you say Texas was supposed to give you my email. Um, Honestly, I don't think he has yet, Blissful. I'm not trying to get him in Dutch with you or anything. Um, he probably just keeps forgetting, I would imagine. But I'm on the last chicken strip. I'm almost back to eating normally again. Um, but I still can't. Like my stomach still doesn't feel 100%. Blissful, you say, I don't think he has. He's been having issues with my post office. Oh, my. Sometimes I don't know who has a worse post office. The post offices here in Louisville, or the post office back home, and the mail carriers combined. But I think I was gonna try to stay on here till old Curly Jaws made it back, but I'm probably gonna stay on here for about 6 more minutes and then get off of here, just because I'm feeling a little extra tired. And I think part of it, or the majority of it, was, you know, just having everything hit me in the face after being sick for a couple of days. Oh, that sucks, Blissful. You say, I can't get a ride to pick up my mail, and they're sending things back before the time is up for holding. Um, Blissful, I hear that all the time from people telling me I need to get my license. Not saying anything bad about you, 71. You're just trying to be helpful. Got gravy on me. Next thing I know, I'll be getting it on my mouse. And Blissful, you say you're all ready to get your permit. Well, you're headed in the right direction. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it, Blissful? You should actually have to have a ride to get it. 71, you say, I have to try to get transportation next year to keep mine if I don't have a car because I have to get my photo redone. Oh, yeah, definitely. If I had my license, I would make sure I kept it. You say I will keep my license no matter what. Blissful, you say we just need to get a battery for the car and I'm ready. Well, I say kudos to you on that, Blissful. And kudos to you, 71, for making sure you keep your license. So, in these last few minutes, is there anything anybody wants to bring up or ask me or um, suggestions for things that you'd like to see me do streams on? Because I would assume, too, that if everything goes okay with TJ, um, either he might mention doing it later this week, or we may just go ahead and I suspect he'll probably just want to wait until next Wednesday because he's probably, I figure he'll probably be wiped out this week. Yes, Blissful. Actually, I have, but my problem is I have trouble keeping up with stuff like that, and it does help. Definitely does help. Um, I just I don't know. I think this is all part of my depression and my anxiety just wrapped up together. I haven't been what you would call severely depressed lately, and I am on medication for depression as well as anxiety. But um, for instance, this past weekend, I decided to clean the bird cage. Which normally, you can pull out the trays on the bird cage and dump all the seed uh seed holes and all that, stuff out, and the bird doo doo and all that. And I guess I'd waited a little bit too long between cleanings, and it had built up. And in this bird cage, there's one of those wire bottoms, and then the stuff falls through and goes in the tray that you can pull out. Well, it had piled up between those two areas so much that when I started pulling the tray out, all these seed holes or husks or whatever you want to call it, and junk fell out on the floor. And Steve was trying to watch TV, and of course, I had to get the vacuum out because this stuff was getting all over the place. And he got aggravated with me over that. And basically, I felt like he was talking to me like a kid. He said, "You've got all these animals now, you got to take care of them. And if you can't take care of them, then you need to get rid of them." And, that kind of made me sad, and it hurt my feelings, and it kind of made me a little mad too because I'm a grown adult and I don't need to be talked to that way by my husband. I spent years being talked to that way by my parents. I don't need my husband doing that. So, I was already feeling bad, and then I go back and forth um between, feeling pretty good about my job and then going back to feeling like I'm a failure at my job. And I don't know if I told this story or not, but we have a Thursday meeting usually that's a, a help desk chat where, my boss talks a little bit and then he goes around to all the different people on the help desk and asks if you have any questions about your tickets. Well, I did have a question about my ticket. It's this one that I've been working on trying to get some software to render the x rays properly. Um, and I've been going back and forth and doing all these things, and nothing is working. And so I thought, hey, I'm going to bring it up to my boss. And my first thought was when I was trying to figure out why the software wasn't rendering the x rays properly, as I was like, because I'd talked to the company that makes the software. And basically, what they told me is if it's version 5.4 or lower, you would need a different kind of graphics card for it to render properly. And so I thought, well, we've got an upgrade to this software. Perhaps the other computers, which were rendering correctly, had the updated version. So I thought, well, I'll just try to upgrade his. Well, put the activation code in it, said it had already been activated. So I innocently brought this up and he didn't even let me finish. He's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." He said, "You can't update one computer without updating all the rest of them." And I wanted to say, "Well, how the hell am I supposed to know that?" Nobody's ever told me that if you upgrade one machine, you've got to upgrade all of them. I just assumed the others were upgraded. They had the same settings as the one that was not rendering correctly. So I could only assume that it was because they had the upgraded version. Um, but he didn't really let me finish, and so I just felt defeated and I felt stupid, and and I'll be damned if I'm going to keep bringing up stuff and asking for help. I asked him it privately. I sent him a chat message. I said, "Steve, can I call you and talk to you about this software?" And he said, he didn't say he didn't have time or anything, but he told me at one time I could call him anytime about stuff. And I thought I would be nice and ask and make sure he wasn't super busy. And he said, "Ask Nathaniel or Tyler about it," and just kind of blew me off. And so I keep asking people. I've asked almost everybody on the help desk. And then to top it all off, he tells me before that meeting is over, this guy that came in to work after I did. So this made me feel even lower. He said, "Why don't you ask this guy? Why don't you ask Ali? He's done a lot with this software." And I thought, whoop de freaking do. He's done a lot with the software. Well, and then he said, "Well, just contact the company and have them remote in and take a look at the settings." Well, that's easier said than done because I tried calling them on the Friday after we had this meeting and they kept me on hold forever and nobody ever picked up. And I also sent them an email and they won't even answer my emails now. So I don't know what my next course of action is going to be actually, but it's just freaking frustrating. But sorry to get off on that. Um, Crash, you say, did you get Bubba Hotep on 4K? Wondering if it's worth the upgrade from Blu ray. I have not got that on 4K yet, Crash, but I certainly would like to. So unfortunately I can't let you know about the transfer. And Blissful, you say you are too for both. Um, yeah, 71. I've thought about that, but it's like I told Steve. I said, "How many medications am I going to go through?" Because they had me on one type of medicine for the depression and it stopped working. And so they put me on Prozac now. Um, but I'm like, aren't aren't I eventually going to run out of medication? That was the thought. That's what you say. Don't be sorry. You needed to vent. Well, it's like I say, I can't talk to Steve about it because he just thinks every every complaint I have is silly and that I'm just looking for excuses to quit every job I've got. And that's just not so. But I can't make him see that. It's possible that they could up the dose, maybe. 71, you say they have to alter the medications when they stop working. Some people have to be medicated. Yes, and I'm definitely one of those people, unfortunately. 71, you say it's nothing to be embarrassed by or anything like that. No, I think in this day and age, people don't, back when my mom was really depressed, people they did not talk about it. They did not bring it up. It was like it was a shameful thing to have. And Steve still thinks that way, that like it makes you less of a person, or if a man has it, makes you less of a man. And I keep trying to tell him, Steve, if you're depressed, just say so. Don't try to hide it. And he tries to claim all the time that he's not depressed. But keep in mind, I live with him, so I see every day, um, little personality changes here and there, or not, maybe not personality changes, but emotional changes rather. Blissful, you say they tried so many antidepressants on me. I know it. You said Prestige. I know it's not spelled right. That was a game changer. Really? Maybe I need to mention that to my doctor. Maybe that's something that they could put me on. Let me ask you this, if you don't mind, Blissful. Did the Prestige, did that seem to make you gain weight at all? Because I know that's kind of a vanity thing, I guess, but I've heard so many horror stories of people just ballooning up, their weight ballooning up, um, when they're on certain antidepressants, and my mom has told me, would you rather be super skinny, of which I haven't been super skinny for a long time, or would you rather be happy? That's one of the things she tells me sometimes. But almost every one of the drugs, the doctors I've been going to tell me that they're weight neutral. But I don't know if that's entirely true. So it actually helped you lose weight. Okay, cool. Oh, let's see. See who this is. Oh, that's my neighbor. Ooh, she sent me a owl backpack. So I gotta send some hearts her way for that. Uh, Actually, she didn't send me the backpack, but she sent me a picture of one. 71, you said they can make you gain weight because you are more tired. And I when I've been on, different antidepressants, people say they can tell that I'm happier, and it may be that I just need to find something that works. But I am, since you mentioned that Prestige, Blissful, I'm going to ask my doctor about that the next time I have an appointment. But guys, it is now 10:40. Um, Yeah, yeah, you gotta be really careful. That's right. But I am gonna have to get off of here because I'm starting to get tired and I won't be any fun. I tried to stay on here in case old Curly Jaws came back, and I hate to do this to him, but I've got to I got to get some rest. So I don't know if I'll be doing anything tomorrow or not. I know I've said that just about every day this week, but I definitely, even if I don't do anything Thursday or Friday, which usually I don't do anything on Friday because that's kind of my day off. Um, but I will be having the sorority house massacre watch along and drinking game if you want to participate, even with non alcoholic drinks. Um, you can if you want to just nix any kind of drinking, even soda pop. That is fine too. I hope some people join me on the watch along. That will again start at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, unless Steve, like I said, drops a bombshell on me and tells me that he's going to have a watch along too. Then Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, we will be having a watch along for night school. So we got all that coming up, and more than likely, me and barring anything going on, me and TJ will next Wednesday cover the last half of season 2 of Tales from the Darkside. Thank you, 71. You have a good night too. And you try to get some rest as well. Everybody get some rest. Oh, thank you, Blissful. You have some sweet dreams, Nana. Thank you, Crash. I appreciate it. You say sorry you're dealing with so much. So, with all that being said, guys, I am going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now.